These DOGE cuts, they're getting real. So here I am again at Johnson Beach in Pensacola, Perdido Key. And if you didn't know, Johnson Beach is part of the National Park System. And specifically, this is part of the Gulf Shores National Park System, which is, as you guessed, a federal agency. So it hit me as I was pulling in that there are going to be cuts here as well. So when I came in, talked to my friend Walter, who works he's a park ranger. He checks people in, checks their ID and so forth. I asked him, I said, so Walter, you think you'll be affected by these DOGE cuts? He said, we already have. Just in this park alone, we've lost 7 employees. And he specified saying they were non-veteran new hires. So I said, what's the likelihood that somebody like yourself might be caught up in these cuts? Walter said, I won't know. He told me I've got to work for another 5 or 6 years, but I won't know whether or not I'm going to be caught up in this. So I told him I'd pray for him because obviously he needs the job. But it got me thinking, as Popsy Guy does, and by the way, you are hanging out with Popsy Guy, that these DOGE cuts are real. They're not messing around. And there are really 2 camps when it comes to thinking about cutting the federal budget. There's one camp that says, absolutely, let's get rid of as many people as we can. We're wasting our money on these folks. They don't really work for a living, yada, yada, yada. And then there's the other camp that says, no, you have to understand that these services that are provided are real services that people need. So if we have a reduction in staff, that's going to mean a reduction in service. And I've seen it already, and you probably have as well. One of the biggest issues I think people like us have is the potential cuts in the Social Security Department. And I'll tell you what the projected numbers are for cuts in Social Security Administration. And it's going to be real. As I said, this is getting real. People are losing their jobs. And if we're in an economy right now, which we are, that is very shaky, we've got inflation that just won't subside. Reports are that it's going to get worse. We've got the home buying and home selling, the real estate market, frozen right now. Interest rates are high, but what the problem is not the interest rates. It's really the price of homes. And I'll do a whole video on that. I was thinking about just last night, sidebar story, but I think you need to know it because you're my age and you remember these things. I took a job in 1990. Had been married only 4 years. Kids were not born yet. My wife and I both lived just outside of Boston. So I took a job with an insurance company in their home office. And they offered to pay me a $40,000 salary. I hung up the phone after getting the job offer, danced around the kitchen and said, $40,000, that's a lot of money. Well, it is a lot of money. But that was what, 1990? You know what I did is I took a look at what would $40,000 be the equivalent salary today in 2025. Around $90,000. 90 estimates are, depending on the number of you input, or in this case, AI inputs, could be anywhere from $95,000 to $98,000 a year. So a $40,000 salary in 1990 is equivalent to a $98,000 salary today. And $98,000 today sounds like a lot of money. But good luck trying to buy a house on a $98,000 salary. Because right now, I think the factor is somewhere around 12 in some states in the country. You take your annual income, multiply it by 12, that's the price of a home. Usually should hover around 4, I think. Most experts say 4 to 5, but in some parts of this country, it's a lot more than that. So the reason I tell you all that is these cuts are going to be real. They're going to add hundreds of thousands of people to the unemployment rolls. Doesn't matter if they're getting buyouts. That money will come to an end, and the cost of living will continue to go up. And where will they find jobs? So it's getting scary. I don't think we've seen how bad this economy is going to be. And I don't care what your political preferences are. I don't care if you love Donald Trump and you worship the ground he walks on, or you'd much rather not see him ever again. Doesn't matter to me what you think. What I think is the President of the United States has very little to do with the U.S. economy. Well, I used to think that until Elon Musk and Donald Trump got together. And I think also, I use the word I think a lot because I do a lot of thinking, is we need this. As hard as it is to say, this is almost like medieval medicine. We need a bloodletting. We need the economy to regenerate itself, to get back to a fairer system, if there's such a thing. But I think the cuts that are coming, the inflation that's still going on, the potential of global conflict, it's going to make the next few years very difficult. And if you're over 60 and you're thinking about retiring, you may want to put that on hold for just a little bit. I'm not telling you what to do. Just saying, I think that the outlook of the United States is a little bit shaky. Y'all saw what happened Friday with Zelensky and Trump and Vance and that little temper tantrum. Well, the whole world is watching that. And we need to know what our president and what our administration has planned for us over 60 folks who only have a few more years of productive work. And then what? And then what? So I'm going to read you these numbers, and it really hit me this afternoon when I pulled in and talked to Walter. You know, I could see it on his face. This is serious stuff. So the total estimate of job losses in the federal government, and that includes contractors, is around $300,000 to $500,000 people. Right now, confirmed, it's 15,000 to 20,000 government employees who have lost their job. There's another planned 50,000 to 80,000 cuts. When I say cuts, people who will lose their job. And of that, not even of that, that's government employees, people that work directly for the United States government and different agencies. Contractors, on the other hand, are not government employees, but those contractors, there's up to 300,000 of them that will lose their contract. And some of you may know people that work under a government contract. It's good money. But 300,000 contracts are probably going to be axed. So let's look at the different departments right now and the estimates of number of people who will be losing their jobs. Starting with the Department of Defense, the estimates are anywhere from 38,000 to 61,000 people, because the new secretary has decided he's going to cut, I think it was 8% a year for the next 5 years. That's a lot. Government service agencies, GSA, potential cuts up to 5,800. Department of Education, 2,100. USAID, which has been in the news and everybody's talking about that department, but that right now is at 5,500. HHS, Health and Human Services. You know, RFK Jr. just took that over. There's planned cuts of anywhere between 4,000 and 6,000 people. The Consumer Financial Protection Board, CFPB, 850 people. HUD, 1,500. Here's one I wasn't even thinking about, but it is a government agency. NOAA, right? Especially down here in Florida, we're always looking at NOAA for the weather, hurricane forecasts. Anywhere from 3,600 to 6,000 people. And then Social Security. This is the one that's going to impact people like you and I the most. 15,000 people. Now, I'm going to tell you a funny story. Not a funny story, but it's a true story. It is funny in retrospect. So as you know, I took Social Security early. My birthday is in August. It was seamless for me because I did it online. They send it off to what's called an auditor, a human being, has to verify the information, make sure it's accurate, and then they tell you whether or not you qualify for the benefits, send you a letter saying congratulations, tell you the day that you're going to get your check, and then you wait, right? You get the bank information, and then you wait. Mine happens to be the second Wednesday of every month. So in September, because you have to wait a month to get your benefit, that second Wednesday, opened up my bank account. There was no deposit. I'm like, this is not going to be good. So just like calling any other government agency, I called them. It's like the IRS, you call 3 people, you get 4 different answers. It's exactly what happened to me when I called Social Security. Matter of fact, when I called and used the 800 number that they suggest that you call, it rang to a Jacksonville office, and the guy answered the phone and excoriated me. Said, why are you live in Pensacola, why are you calling me in Jacksonville? I said, sir, that's the number I have. He goes, well, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, well, I've got you on the phone, can you help me out? And he was very gruff, but very efficient. I think Elon would like to keep this guy around. Gave him the information, he banged it up, and he says, confirm for me your bank account. I gave him the number, he goes, there it is. I said, what? He said, they transposed the number. I said, who's they? He said, whatever person inputted this by hand, transposed that number. And I said, so what do I do now? He goes, you wait. I said, for how long? He goes, it depends. If you don't see the check coming into your account in the next 5 to 7 business days, call us back. Like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Just to go through this same runaround? So 5 to 7 days, came and went, no check. My wife, being as brilliant as she is, said, don't call, go to the Social Security office in downtown Pensacola. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that, because that's like saying, how would you like to spend a day at the DMV? That was exactly what I thought it would be. But again, if you don't know anything about Pensacola, Pensacola is a quaint, small city. It's not a large metropolis. Population is probably about 40, 50 grand. I don't even know. But I was lucky enough to get into Social Security. You don't make an appointment. Well, you can make an appointment. And I drove my car, got a parking spot right out front of the Social Security building, which is a quaint little building. It's not a huge government tower with the, it was really kind of quaint. But as soon as I got out of my car, I heard a noise. I heard, well. My right front tire had a nail in it. And as soon as I parked, that nail decided to do its magic and let all the air out of my tire. So here I am standing in front of the Social Security office, not knowing who I'm going to talk to, what I'm going to say, looking at a flat tire. Like, oh, this day's just getting better. So I walk in. Oh yeah, there were a lot of people in that office. Every chair was taken, people standing up along the walls. Security guard at the desk just looks at you as you come in. The sign on his desk said, do not sign in, I am only security. So I had to go to a kiosk, sign in, tell him what I needed to do. Got my number like you would at the DMV, and using logic, which is I'm number 94 and now serving 32. Oh, this is going to be an all-day adventure. Fast forward, I was so impressed. Less than a 45-minute wait to get my number called. Went into basically, for the lack of a better description, when you go to visit a prisoner in jail, you have to talk on the phone. Same thing. The guy was behind a bulletproof glass enclosure. And he says, so what can I help you with today? And I told him. He gets on his computer, bang, bang, bang. No, doesn't say a lot, just pounds out a lot of numbers on the keyboard. And he goes, okay, you're all set. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I fixed it. I said, so I'll get my check? He said, yeah, you'll get your check the second Wednesday next month. I said, okay. He said, all right, anything else I can help you with? I said, no, not 100% confident that was going to work, but guess what? It worked. So the reason I give you that long, detailed story is we need human beings in the Social Security office that know what they're doing. I love Elon's entrepreneurship. I love the fact that he can send rockets into space and have them parallel park on top of a, what do you call it, when a rocket comes back down, basically put it in reverse and put it back on the launch pad. The guy is brilliant, but I don't know if he's got the patience to rework the whole Social Security system so that it's automated and we don't need people. But right now, we're going to be losing the people. So here's my advice. If you're 61-ish, getting on to 62, and you're thinking about taking early Social Security, I would, this is not advice, this is kind of like, I'd get it done as soon as you can. I just don't trust the fact that if they're going to cut that many people from the system, that yours is not going to be screwed up. I have faith that the system will be better after all the cuts are made and new technology and software and automation are implemented. But if you're somebody that's going to be in that black hole of, you know, we're fixing it now and we screwed up and you're not going to get your check and we don't know who you're supposed to talk to, you can avoid that. You should do that. But anyway, I just want to share that with you. You know, I'm an entrepreneur. I've started a couple of different businesses. I've always, not always, but more often, most of my working career was, I had to earn the money. I wasn't given a paycheck. So I know what it's like to go out there and make it happen. But I do feel, I've known a lot, and I know a few more who are state and government employees that don't have that skill and who are still in their prime working years and rely on a steady job to pay them every 2 weeks, give them nice benefits, potential, you know, great retirement benefit, health benefits. But if they lose their job, there's not going to be a lot of need for that skill coming out of a government service job. That's just the reality, because that's not an entrepreneurial mindset. Creating and generating revenue, it's not something they do. Spending revenue, accounting for it, oh yeah, they're really good at that. But those are not going to be jobs falling out of the sky. So do that. I'll keep you updated on what's happening in the world of DOGE, but I just want to share with you, it's real. I don't care what your political stripes are. This is going to affect hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who are going to be added to the unemployment rolls in an economy that is not good. I don't care what people tell you, it's not good. There are people with lots of money that are not impacted by it, but that's not you and me. So we've got to pay attention to what's happening. So if you would say a prayer for those folks, let the best ones land back on their feet in private sector jobs where they can contribute, make even more money, and enjoy their work. But all this shall remain to be seen. So this is Popsy Guy saying thank you for taking the time walking on the beach with me today. I'd love it if you would subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Leave me a like, and as a lot of you do, and I love you for it, comments. I am not a big channel. I will respond to your comment. Be nice. If you're not nice, that's fine. I'm not going to block you or delete you. I'll just retort. We can have a conversation if you like. But regardless, by the end of the week, I'm going to give you my 2-month update on how the channel is going, give you the statistics, tell you exactly what's happening, and hopefully get some feedback on what do you want to talk about next, because that's really what this is all about. So again, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.